Good evening, everyone. I call to order the Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025 public meeting of the Jenkintown Borough Council. At this time, we'll stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Councilor Khalil to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to the roll call, Councilor Khalil. Here. Councilor McAfee. Councilor Bartlett. Here. Councilor Narva. Here. Councilor Ballard, he did ask to be excused. Councilor Connors here. Councilor Saltesiak. Here. Councilor Panko. Here. Councilor Lewis. Here. Councilor Spindler. Here. Councilor Bruno. Here. And Councilor Marlowe. Here. Manager Locke, please record a quorum. Approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second? Are there any comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Manager Locke, please record the unanimous vote. Approval of payrolls. In the motion for the approval of payrolls in the amount of $253,620.93 and invoices totaling $282,559.12. I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Manager Locke, please record a unanimous vote. I am going to open it up to public comment. We do have a hearing for this evening regarding the rental ordinance. So if you do have a public comment regarding the rental ordinance, I would ask that you hold your comment until then. Other than that, if there's any other public comment, now would be the time. Yes, sir. And if you could please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Brian Stuckert. I own 410 Cotton Street, 412 West Avenue in Jenkintown. I'm a plumbing contractor also, and I have questions regarding the borough's lateral ordinances and how they're handled. And I don't know if that's
so before you, I just want to be clear that it's public comment. It's not a Q&A.
Okay. So I'll state my.
Yes.
I can state my issues. I don't know if I should do it now or during. I saw in here you have the engineer report.
Now. You can do it now. Yes.
So in your, sorry, I don't usually talking. Your ordinances, as far as sewer laterals, are written up. You have to get your sewer lateral inspected by a plumber and get it. You have to get your sewer lateral inspected when the property is sold or changes to UNF. And there, in the ordinance, it states that once you get it done, it'll then go to the borough, you can send it to whoever, which they send it to the engineer to get a report on it. It says then the engineer sends it back. When the engineer sends it back, it'll have a report. In that report, and then your ordinance states that the property owner or contractor must fix those issues. Your borough engineer sends back reports telling you, or the homeowner and contractor, how to fix the issues, which I'm not understanding why they do that, because it's not in the ordinance. And as a plumbing contractor who has to do the work, I believe that it would fall for them to do it. And I understand there's issues with how it's between the engineer and myself as a contractor, the plumber, somebody else, that it can be brought up to be changed. Or different ways to go about it. That never seems, I've done that numerous times with some issues that ended up costing me a lot of money on my business because the engineer will essentially says, you have to do it because I say so. It's not, they recommend you use a specific chemical. I believe the chemical is phenomenal. The way the engineer tells you to use it is not the way the manufacturer tells you to use it. The manufacturer tells you not to use it that way. They tell you why not to use it that way. I've shared it with the engineer through emails. I've sent them I sent the borough the emails from the manufacturer, everything. When we're doing this, it's costing $800-900 extra to get these lines out, which aren't needed. And the manufacturer says this stuff doesn't work as well. So I don't know what my next step would be, because I've asked and I've been told you have to do what we say. And I don't believe that's the right way, because if it needs to be a plumbing repair, in the borough it has to be done by a registered plumber. But when it comes to that, the borough can tell the plumber or contractor how they have to do it. So that's my comment, and I don't know how that would be handled or who would handle it. So.
Did you want to speak to it? This is Mark Biggerton, from our engineer from Pennoni and Associates.
No, I'm not prepared to answer this at this time, but we can look into it and get back to you.
But it's been, okay, so it's been over a month, going on a month and a half, I've been going round and round about
Well,
this.
I mean, I just want to, Manager, like, this ordinance has been in place for how many years?
Yeah, 17.
Okay, thank you. And how many laterals have we? 300. Okay. Yeah, so this is the first I'm hearing of this.
Right,
Okay, yes, Manager.
I can very briefly tell you that I reviewed Mr. Stucker's comments. I spoke with the engineer, and then I sent all that information to the solicitor who reviewed the ordinance, came back and said the ordinance does specify who does what. Mr. Stucker originally thought that they decided what needed to be done, and he could approve it, and it wasn't the borough approving it, but it is the borough approving it. I'm actually responsible to approve it, but we use our sanitary sewer engineer to review it and do a report.
Okay, thank you, Manager Locke. And as our engineer stated, we can look into it further. That's not a problem. He just wasn't prepared to speak to it.
that's fine, I mean, I thought that, well, Allison kind of moved it off into a while, but, yeah. So, then there's emails and it's been going round and round and round. So, it's not, I understand what he sent to the lawyer or the borough's counsel, but it's not even the lawyer's response was, the engineer can suggest what can be done. Nowhere in there does it say the engineer can tell me what needs to be done. And that's where the issue. If I go and say the manufacturer tells you to do it this way, it's the best way to do it with their product that you're requiring I use or recommend that I use, then that would be...
Okay. Yeah, I understand. And no, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you giving us that feedback. And anytime we can take a look at an ordinance, and if there's an opportunity to make it better and, more convenient for everyone, then that's in everyone's best interest.
I don't think changing the ordinance.
Yeah, no, I understand. Or, whatever we can do to, that we can all work together. So, as our engineer stated, he wasn't prepared to speak to it, but he will take a look at it. Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Yes.
Mary Jane Riley. I just wanted to talk about the money that the borough is spending. I know last month you approved the lease purchase of a police car when our forces numbers are declining, as far as I know. And there's already like 4 cars. The other issue is that on the agenda tonight is the repaving of West Avenue, Florence to, I guess, the curve. I'm not sure. And I know you spent like almost $150,000 on that small section of Walnut last year. That part of West Avenue isn't that bad. I walk it frequently. There's a couple of holes in it. But the benefit of potholes is that it slows the speeders down. And, the police car purchase was viewed as part of the schedule, and I'm sure that, this is part of the schedule. But
my finances have changed drastically in the last 5 years, and my schedules have gone to heck. I have no vacation savings schedule. I have no home repair schedule. And, if we're told 6 months ago that there's not enough money to have a police force, I don't quite understand how there is $140,000 we paid a road, $90,000 for cars, and that is just my concern. And my money is not infinite, and the borough's is not either. And I hope somebody is watching where the money goes. As far as I can see, there's only like $100,000 for major road construction in the budget. So I would imagine that this is the only street we're planning to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Yes, Maureen?
As part of the JAC, we're having our annual block cleanup this Sunday from 1 o'clock to 3. We'll ask some people to come out and help clean up the meeting house there, and we'll have green shovels. We'll bring your own stuff, that'd be great too. For JAC, we'd also like to thank Mr. Locke for allowing Carter's Bridgetown to put up some good collision window clings along the side of the Borough Hall. Here to go on the side and see that little dots very almost invisible on the window. I'd like to thank Mr. Riggins, Mark Pennoni, and Raheem Cooper. They were the 3 gentlemen who put all the cleaning up on the window, and I heard they had a good time doing it too. We do have some more of the cleaning up, so we're looking for some other areas that we could put it up to prevent road strikes. And we're also now part of Road Safe Road.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Oh, yes.
Randy Garvin, 99 Runnymede. I just want to report that there is a car that is apparently abandoned at the very end of Rodman Avenue, not far from my house. It was parked there probably close to 2 weeks ago, and when it was first parked there, whoever left it there left the flashers on overnight, which means that the battery is probably long dead by now. But I know that the policies about abandoning cars, that they have to, I don't know, this car is registered in Pennsylvania. I don't know if the owner is registered in Jenkintown, but in any case, it's a car that is not normally seen there. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Madam Chair, do you have any public comment by way of email? Thank you. Okay. At this time, I'm going to hand it over to Chief Scott for a retirement recognition.
Thank you, President Connors. I'd like to have Frank Jaworski come forward with his family, and any other officers are available outside. We're here tonight to recognize Officer Frank Jaworski on his retirement from the Jenkintown Borough Police Department. Frank started his career serving the citizens of Jenkintown in June of 2000 as a part-time officer. He was sworn in as a full-time officer in the following year, October 2001. Frank has been serving public safety since 1992 as a dispatcher for Abington Township and Lower Moreland Township. It was Frank's dream to be a police officer for many years, and he worked hard to prepare himself for the successful career he has completed. Frank was a FTO, a field training officer, a bike officer, and a traffic safety officer for the borough. In addition, Frank was a member of the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office Drug Task Force. Officer Jaworski was involved in many drug investigations that resulted in the arrest of individuals charged with illegal drug distribution and related crimes. He also has hundreds of arrests for a variety of crimes committed in the borough and received recognition from Mothers Against Drunk Driving for his enforcement of the DUI laws in the Commonwealth. Frank was a key member of the department who worked to develop community engagement through softball games and other activities with the school district. And Frank cared so much about his own community, he even worked as a part-time officer in Rockridge Borough for 20 years, while also working full-time here. Frank is married to his wonderful wife, Maureen, and he's the proud father of 2 children, Caitlin is here, who's a critical care nurse down in the city of Philadelphia, and also his son Frank Jr. is serving our great nation as an Army second lieutenant working as the military police unit down in Texas. In his spare time, Frank's a closet car guy and has an expansive collection of baseball cards and sports memorabilia. We want to congratulate Frank on his retirement from the borough and thank him for all his service to the Jenkintown residents and also the Rockledge communities. As a result of that, we're going to give him this plaque that says on it, in recognition of 25 years of service to the Jenkintown residents and the Jenkintown Borough Police Department, presented to Officer Frank Jaworski by the Jenkintown Borough Council. Yeah, all the officers that are here, why don't you come on forward so you get a picture with Frank?
I just want to thank everybody. You know, it's been a heck of a ride for the last 25 years. I met a lot of good people, residents, guys I work with. It hasn't always been an easy road, but you know what, we tried to do what we could do, and it was an important objective in keeping the citizens of Jenkintown, Pennsylvania safe, keep Jenkintown the type of community it is, and I'm just glad to be a part of it and the privilege of it. And I wish luck to the other officers in my department. I'll always be there for everybody, especially Nancy, that would be friends here. But the biggest friend of all is my wife, Jenny. We've been together for 35 years, and without her, I wouldn't accomplish what I've accomplished here today. Thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Frank,
I'm going to put something.
Frank, thank you so much.
Hey, Frank, this is the box.
Okay, thank you all. I am going to go out of order, and if I want to move the short-term rental ordinance up in the order of business. If council has no objection with that, I will turn it over to our solicitor, Mr. Hitchens.
Thank you, Mr. President. So at this time, I am going to open the public hearing to be held for the ordinance number 2025-2, which is the short-term rental ordinance. Before marking some documents, if I can just give a brief explanation as to exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how it works. So as you will recall, council has previously authorized the advertisement of a short-term rental ordinance. This was after many months of discussion and review, both by this body as well as your local planning commission. You'll also recall this ordinance contains essentially two components to it. One component is a revision to your zoning ordinance that will address short-term rentals from a zoning perspective, as well as a rental registration requirement, which is outside the zone. Because there is a zoning component, I would recommend you follow the procedures under the municipality's planning code with regards to adoption. Under the municipality's planning code, whenever you make a revision to your zoning code, you have to hold a public hearing. At that public hearing, that's when you get an opportunity to hear public comment with regard to the ordinance, and it's specifically recorded down in the stenographic record, which is why we have a stenographer here tonight, which is why I asked Mr. President, it was all right with him to move this up in the agenda, so she didn't have to sit here all night and we're able to get to that point. So thank you to council for doing that for you. So at this time, I'm going to mark some documents into our stenographic record. The first document I'm going to mark as B1 is a copy of the legal advertisements for tonight's hearing. That includes both the proof of publication as well as a copy of the legal ad itself. B2, I'm going to mark as a copy of the ordinance itself, ordinance 2025, which has the following title: an ordinance of the Borough of Jenkintown, Montgomery County, amending Chapter 181, titled Zoning, to permit by special exception short-term rental use in the traditional residential infill overlay and the town center districts only, and establishing criteria for the granting of said special exception use, and amending Chapter 142, titled Rental Properties, to set forth additional licensure and regulation requirements for the operation of rentals, including short-term rental units within the borough, providing a severability clause and a repeal clause, and providing an effective date. As B3, I'm going to mark is a copy of the Montgomery County Planning Commission review letter dated December 12, 2024, and this is the comments that you have received from the County Planning Commission with regards to the draft ordinance. In terms of providing a summary, I think the best summary I can provide you is what's contained in the legal ad itself. So I'm going to simply read to you what the summary states in the legal ad. The proposed ordinance will amend the Jenkintown zoning code, Chapter 181, to permit short-term rental uses by special exception within the borough. The amendments to Chapter 181 include: 1. Establishing a definition for short-term rentals under Section 181-4. 2. Permitting short-term rental use by special exception in the TR, Traditional Infill Overlay District, and the TC, Town Center District. And 3. Establishing various special exception criteria for said use, such as parking requirements, compliance with applicable codes, occupancy limitations, prohibitions on outdoor storage and use, prohibitions on signage, smoke detector and GFI outlet requirements, property maintenance requirements, and interior information posting requirements. The proposed ordinance also amends the entirety of Chapter 142 relating to rental property licensure. The revised Chapter 184, the revised Chapter 142 contains provisions that address the following: 1. Requirement to obtain an annual license for rental properties, including short-term rentals, with certain exceptions. 2. Annual license procedures and license application requirements. And 3. Penalties for non-compliance. Additionally, I will note for council, this has gone before your planning commission on several occasions, both before and after the Montgomery Planning Commission issued its review letter. I know that because I was at one of those PC meetings after the review letter was issued, because I provided some comments to the planning commission with regard to the questions raised by the county. So with that, I will now turn it back over to you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President. If council wants to make any comments or statements with regard to the ordinance, or if they have any questions that they would like staff to try to answer, and then after comments by council, if you could open up to the public and have them comment.
Is there any comments from council? Yes, Councilor P.
I apologize if I just forgot this, but is there an inspection required in order to check the compliance?
Give me one moment. So under Section 4 of the ordinance, which addresses the revisions to Chapter 142, this is where we have included short-term rentals as a part of your normal annual licensure requirements for rental units. In reviewing that, I'm just quickly breezing through here. There's an annual application process. And under subsection G, it states, upon the application of the owner for a rental license or renewal thereof, code enforcement may conduct an inspection of the property, determine and ensure that the residential rental dwelling and each unit contained therein is not a public nuisance or substandard and meets all the applicable zoning, health, safety, and building requirements of the borough, as well as general applicable law. All inspections shall conform to the protections guaranteed property owners and or individuals in the Constitution. To the protections guaranteed property owners and or individuals in the constitutions of the United States and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank you. So there is an inspection.
Are there any other questions or comments from council?
Thank you to the folks who worked.
Yes, Councilor Green.
Yeah, I just want to say a special thank you to the Planning Commission and from the city of Bartlett, who worked, spent many hours on developing this. So a real shout out to her because she really assisted council by her diligence in helping us to prepare this.
Thank you. Hearing no other comment, I will now open it up to public comment. Is there any public comment? Manager Locke, are you aware of any public comment by way of email?
Yes, sir, I have not received any emails.
Okay, hearing none. Mr. Hitchens, can I move to the motion?
Yes, so before you do that, I'm just going to say, at this time, the hearing is going to be officially closed. But consistent with your prior practice, I would ask if you don't mind go ahead and taking action with regard to it, so it can be contained on the stenographic record.
Sure, thank you. Councilor Bruno, do you have a language for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Ordinance 2025-2, short-term rental. I move to approve adoption of ordinance 2025-02, short-term rental.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Manager Locke, please record unanimous vote.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Now I will move back to reports. The engineer's report. Mark Bickerton from Pennoni is with us.
Remember this time. Good evening.
I only have a couple things to add for a report that's filed. We are Assistant Manager Locke with an ROE scoping application for Phase 2 traffic signal improvements at Walnut and Runnymede. It's similar in scope and cost to a monthly 2040 that was put together last year, so it's about $150,000. I'll keep you apprised. It's just a scoping application to be conducts early input in the project. The official application will open in June. We're still continuing to assist with final inspections for land development and several of the other projects through town, such as the CDBG ADA ramps. And then, the grocery store. I've been working with Chief Scott and Manager Locke on some solutions to some of the traffic patterns that we're seeing out there. I think we've got a nice solution. We're waiting on a product. It's called Quick Curb. You've probably seen it. It's like a kind of a plastic curb with radiators that comes out of the ground that will help hopefully curb some of those movements that we're seeing out there. It's on order. Should be here any day. I don't know when it's going to be here, but we're I'll call the contest daily to find out about it. And that's it for me. Unless there's any questions.
Okay, thank you. Public Works Department, Foreman Riggins is not with us, but I'm sure Manager Locke will tie anything Public Works related into his manager's report. Solicitor's report. Solicitor Hitchens.
The Solicitor's Office continues to provide services on an as-needed and as-requested basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor's report. Mayor Lerman is not with us. He did ask to be excused. Police Chief's report. Chief Scott.
Thank you, President Connors. My report was submitted. I just wanted to bring to attention a couple things. I was informed today by SPS Technologies that they are going to be opening up Island Avenue on Monday. During the daytime hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., they'll have a flagger force out there to direct traffic through the area while they maneuver equipment across the street into the parking lot during their reclamation project. The other thing is the drug take back that is occurring this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have an officer here present to take any expired medications. Abington Township and Shelton Township are also participating, so if you can make the Borough, don't have space to go to either of their stations. And then the last thing I wanted to bring to your attention is there's an item on the agenda tonight regarding policies. It's supposed to read that it's 1.11 to 1.2.8. It's not just it's not just two policies there. It's actually 13 policies. The policies range from the oath of office, the code of ethics, criminal justice diversion programs, consular notification, foreign nationals and consular notification, legal authority to find, legal authority to carry and use weapons, interviews and interrogations, search and seizure, arrest procedures, alternatives to arrest, use of discretion, strip and body searches. It also has pursuit of motor vehicles, which is a mission critical policy. We needed to modify the one that was previously in our policy manual, and there was nothing on foot pursuits. There's a specific policy now for foot pursuits. There was nothing regarding roadblocks and there were similar stopping devices, stopping traffic interventions. And on top of that was the controlled tire inflation device, which we have currently. We do have one of those in our equipment, so we need to have a policy regarding that. And then the last one is regarding active threats and response to active threats. We want to make sure that we have that on there on this one, and that's show-ups or an eyewitness identification at the scenes of crimes. There needs to be a policy regarding that, making sure that officers are not being influential on people making positive identification of people who have committed crimes within the borough or within our area. So, if you have any questions regarding those policies, we can address them now before we have to make that motion later on in the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Chief Scott. Manager's report. Manager Locke.
Thank you, President Collins. I will try to be brief. I included a couple of the public works things in this report as well. The Chief mentioned Highland Avenue opening, so I'll skip that one. The borough's been installing streetlights that have been knocked down. We started a new program where we have a map, they're numbering all the lights. And the poles and lights that were replaced this far were 2 poles on Raymond Street and 5 were done in the last 2 days on York Road. And some of them are the existing Pico poles. It's a difficult task. Abington has a crew out there 2 days in a row. And they have one more day left because there's 1 pole left. There's 6 on York Road that have been knocked down. The trench restoration or pothole repairs are scheduled to take place tomorrow on York Road. The milling and paving of York Road, where the utility companies disturb the roadway, is scheduled for the last week of April or the first week of May, weather permitting. That milling and paving will take place at May. The borough-wide cleanup that Mr. Luchak mentioned is scheduled for Sunday, April 27th, 1 to 3, in Town Square. Or you could clean it away to Town Square and go in there. This event was posted on the Jenkintown School District electronic sign. It's the first time that we had something put up on there, and we have a second one for the electronic collection that I'm about to mention. We did sign the general liability and vehicle insurance coverage for the Jenkintown Fire Department, excuse me. It's been renewed with Communica Insurance. It was a new company we started with last year. They requested many policy changes, and the fire companies complied. Because of their compliance with that and removal of non-firefighting vehicles that were not owned by the borough, and one reclassification of one of the borough-owned vehicles, the new policy was issued at an annual savings of $10,192, and that equates to a 23% decrease in the cost. The borough is co-sponsoring a free electronic waste recycling event. Anything with a plug will be accepted, including televisions. This event will be on Saturday, May 3rd, between 9 and 11 a.m. at the library, 460 York Road. And then the 25 Police Department Ford Explorer has been delivered to Fred Deans through a Co-Stars program. The quote for the outfit has been provided to U.S. Bancorp as part of the documentation required for the master lease revision, and the borough expects to see that vehicle in May or June of this year. That's all I had, unless somebody has any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Thank you, Manager Locke.
Is registration required for the electronic collection?
It is not.
Okay, I will move on to the order of business. Number one on the order of business, release and settlement agreement, 210 Greenwood Avenue. I move to approve the 210 Greenwood Avenue release and settlement agreement in the amount of $16,205. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions? So, this is due to some property damage that happened at a residence home at the 210 Greenwood. It took place in 2020 and then again in 2023. I know Manager Locke can elaborate, or Mr. Hitchens can if you would like.
Yeah, so I can help out a little bit here. So there was a property, 210 Greenwood, in which there were two incidences in which there was a sewer backup at the property. That was not the cause of the resident, but due to another issue related to the system. The property owner had incurred out-of-pocket damages. He provided to the borough manager a listing of the out-of-pocket damages, which included the cost to repair his property, including the cost to repair his own basement area that had been damaged by it, as well as the time that he lost because he's a contractor and he assisted in the work. So based off of the amount that he had provided documentation to the borough manager and having presented this, it was my recommendation that if the council were inclined to make this payment to him to resolve what could be a potential lawsuit against the borough, that you would have him enter into a release agreement so that he can't sue you after you just gave him the money to make him whole. And there was no punitive damages that are associated. This is all based off of the documentation he had provided of the actual costs he incurred and the actual wages that he had lost. So there's nothing like pain and suffering or consortium or those other things added on top of it.
So what happened? How did it get back there?
That I'm just a lawyer, so I can't speak to what happened in the system. All I know is that I'm being told that it was not his fault that had caused this issue, and like I said, it was on more than one occasion, and that was why the question was raised as to whether the borough should make it.
Thank you, Mr. Hitchens. Is there any other comments or questions?
I'm assuming that you know the cause and it was repaired, so something happened again?
We never say never.
Okay.
What we did repair was a drain line along Greenwood that wasn't on any plans, and it broke, washed out his lateral twice.
Okay.
We've gone in there and hooked that line up, taken it out to the main storm line out in the street and tied it in. So if pressure ever does go back up, we'll just go into a regular storm. But the line is banned. It shouldn't be building up pressure. We used to run through the front yards of the train station, and everybody planting trees there whenever. It just compromised the pipe all along. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We believe it's fixed, and he hasn't had any other issues.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Manager Locke, please record a unanimous vote. Jenkintown School District Letter of Support for Federal Funding. I move to authorize the Borough Manager and Council President to send a letter of support of the Jenkintown School District's request for federal funding for development of recreational space.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions?
Just 5 minutes. And it's just a letter of support and does not bind us for any financial.
It does not. No.
I just wanted to clarify.
Right. Yeah, I know that I think they have until Friday to get this in, and so they were looking for support. So we were happy to do it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Locke, please record a unanimous vote. Councilor Soltizia.
Okay. The Jenkintown Police Department policies. I make a motion to move to approve Jenkintown Police Department policies. Can I say that the chief mentioned earlier today?
I make a motion to approve Jenkintown Police Department policies numbers 1.1.1, 1.2.8. These are not, can't we just say the ones that he said?
Yeah, just through to 1.2.8, and then the others are similar.
So moved.
A motion
I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Locke, please record a unanimous vote. Number 4 was already taken care of. Night market contract. I move to approve the night market agreement for the 8 p.m. Tuesdays, May 27th through September 30th, excluding Tuesday, June 3rd, because of the sunset run. I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
President Collins?
Yes.
I just want to mention that this was actually listed in the Inquirer today as one of the farmers markets to visit.
Oh, great.
Good to know. Yeah.
As of this morning, we have all the music.
All right.
Summer music here, so we're covered.
And that's why Jenkintown's the best town.
That's right, yeah.
So the agreement is that basically approving the market and the
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Locke, please record a unanimous vote. I move to approve alteration of payment request number 3, which is the final payment, in the amount of $30,963.42 when recommended by the borough engineer. I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Locke, please record a unanimous vote. Does anybody have any new business to bring forward? Okay. Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good evening.